The Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship returns to Canterbury in the shadow of the Southern Alps. And for the first time this year, the rally will be held exclusively on forest roads.
It is special competing in Ashley Forest. It is like the spiritual home of rallying in the South Island, and it has a really strong history.
And the stages include some very well-known pieces of Ashley Forest.
I like to bet I can be the quickest through that piece of road out of anybody.
But the forests require a balance of speed and care if you want to finish the day.
I think with any water crossing, you've got to treat it with a bit of respect. There's a lot of time that can be lost in one if you do something wrong. Sort of just got to drive through them and you make sure you get out the other side.
Ben Hunt is back after his crash at Whangarei. Car and body both repaired.
We have dropped around, and so we'll just be doing our best in the last few rounds and just trying to consolidate.
The pressure is on the top drivers as only championship leader David Holder has finished all the stages in 2016.
The pressure is on us going into this round. We really need a top result to keep in the hunt for the championship. So that's how we're going to start the event.
It's obviously pretty cool to be in the front of the championship. It's not a position, you take for granted for sure. There's still a long way to go in this championship.
This is round 3 of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship, powered by Gull Liquid Horsepower, B&T and Dunlop. It's the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury in association with Joe's Garage.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Summerfield and welcome to Rangiora. This is my hometown. Just like the Christchurch city, Rangiora was also hit by the earthquake. But now the city is vibrant, friendly, and people are coming from every direction to see these brand new buildings going up everywhere. But this weekend it's all about rallying, and this is the headquarters for the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury.
Thanks Nicole. I'm Matt Summerfield, and if we're going to talk about the home of rallying, this is it here in Ashley Forest. When you're talking about Ashley Forest, we're talking about this piece of road right here, the most famous part of the forest, and it's the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint Road.
And what was the record?
That's 56.57 by Kim Austin in 1999.
And what have you done?
I've done a bit over a minute, so I've got a bit of work to do this year.
And Matt will be hoping for a better result than day 1 at Rally Whangarei, where a broken cam pulley stopped his car on day 1. But he wasn't alone in a drama-filled event. Hayden Paddon had to play bumper cars with a slow Japanese driver before he stopped with a differential issue. Ben Hunt and David Holder got caught in a gravel traffic jam with the same driver. And then Ben Hunt made a dramatic exit from the rally.
Guess I had half a cricket pitch inside the car with me, and it was actually that much mud in there that I couldn't move it myself, and even with Tony helping we couldn't, so him and another guy got that off, and ended up breaking 3 ribs and quite bad bruising in places around my back.
Sloane Cox had enjoyed a dust-free run in the morning and held the lead through the afternoon stages, only to lose time on the final stage. Lance Williams was out of the rally after tipping his car into a ditch. And Emma Gilmore was having a dusty time after losing her roof vent here.
Yeah, look, Whangarei was an interesting rally for sure. Being in behind Ben in that dust was something I've never experienced before. 3 cars trying to go on one corner, it's a bit like rallycross.
So David Holder was the surprise day 1 leader. Sunday morning saw first Hayden Paddon and then Matt Summerfield make up for day 1 disappointment, taking out the top 2 places in the day 2 standings. In the battle for the overall lead, David Holder held on to take maximum points, his first rally win, and he took the overall lead in the championship. Emma Gilmore finished 2nd to go to 6th, while Richard Baddock nursed home a car to finish 3rd.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the road. Start
Lone Star Christchurch hosted the rally start with the top 5 drivers choosing their start order. Ben Hunt looking to lead from the front and showed that he and the Subaru rally team are fully recovered after the crash. So let's take a look at what's ahead with our B&T stage preview. Stage 1 and 5 starts at the Ashley Forest Sprint finish line, climbing Mount Grey Road before a right turn down a valley, and a deep ford at the bottom will be icy in the morning. Stage 2 and 6 runs a long loop through Clearfeld Forest, starting and finishing at Markitikiti, lots of spectacular ridgeline driving. Stage 3 and 7 head north and climbs above Lowburn. Before Stage 4 and 8 take cars almost to the top of the forest where snow had fallen earlier in the week. The final power stage starts below the Mount Grey Road, climbs up, and then it's a super rally highway downhill, finishing in the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. Coming up, icy roads and deep fords will challenge the drivers at the start of the Lone Star Rally of Canterbury. Welcome back to the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. Stage 1, 19.3 kilometres. Conditions cold but fine as Ben Hunt sets off to rebuild his defence of the New Zealand Rally Championship crown in this fantastic forest.
Forestry is very unique to drive on. You can go and drive down a public road whenever you like, but there's something about forestry and the way that the roads are designed, and obviously they are a bit harsher on the car and a bit rougher in places, but you know, if we wanted to go and drive down a smooth bit of road, we'd probably all go take up and do some track racing. So yeah, I've always been really enthusiastic about the forestry rallies around New Zealand and always have a good crack at them.
Joining us again is our rally expert Patrick Melly. Looks like Ben's team have the car back in tip-top condition.
Yes, luckily for Subaru Rally Team New Zealand, the car wasn't too badly damaged, and in the months since Whangarei, they've not only been able to fix everything, but have had made time for major improvements. So Ben will be looking for a great improvement in his pace here.
This is one of the water crossings, or fords as we call them in New Zealand. Looks like a bit deeper than Ben was expecting.
And that car would have drunk a fair amount of water going through there. It's a brand new car, and I don't think they would have had time to test it going through fords. Hopefully he hasn't done any damage.
Left 100. It won't go now.
David Holder on the start line and in a great position leading the championship.
And with being able to drop around the championship, it is obviously an advantage for us having scored really good in the first 2 rounds. But at this stage, with only halfway through the championship, we've really got to kind of push on and do our best at every round. Takes a wee bit of pressure off in the sense that we can pull it back a wee bit in some more technical bits, but we're still here to win the rally, so that's what we'll try and do.
Dave's going to have to find the balance between pushing hard on this rally or just maintaining his points lead. And whilst he showed a lot of maturity at Whangarei, this is a brand new event, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes over the day.
Now Richard Batter currently second in the championship, crediting success so far this year to the fantastic support from his sponsors.
People who've obviously seen some potential in me and they've offered their assistance, and that's made a huge difference, because it just gives me a lot of confidence just going into the event, and even just the gear that they've let us borrow. You just know you're a lot more set up and you're a lot more ready, and just a lot more. You know, I think a key to driving quickly is just being ready. I'd always drive better when I know the car is ready, and I know I'm ready. Everything just gels a lot better. So yeah.
Third at Rally Whangarei, this is Richard's home turf, so can he pull off another top result? Emma Gilmore got her championship back on track with second place at Whangarei. Well, not quite the start she was looking for here though.
Ashley Forest Rally Sprint is an iconic piece of road. Here we're starting at the end of the stage normally and coming up to where you go over the flying finish coming downhill, just there, and absolutely flat out. Emma, because she's going uphill, we've had to carry a lot more speed, and going through the dipper here on the right, just keep the pedal to the metal right up to the top of the hill. As you're coming over here, we'll be coming up to where the hairpin would normally be on the left, but instead we're going to blast right through this section here onto Mount Grey Road, which hasn't been rallied in this direction in a while, and may catch a couple of people out, just like Emma almost did there.
Last year, Emma was caught in the dust in the opening stage, but that's not an issue this morning. Sloane Cox next on the stage. He was very competitive at Whangarei. Just let down though by a couple of small errors which cost him a lot of time. Matt Summerfield won this event before it was a round of the championship, so big motivation for the boy from Rangiora to score another victory on home turf.
And Matt's always shown a huge amount of commitment on his home rally. He'll be really pushing here on the edge, but considering the amount of ice that's showing on the stage, he probably should be leaving a little bit more up his sleeve, just in case something catches him out. Just like it almost did there.
Great car control there by Matt, even if assistant Nicole sounds a little bit concerned.
Yeah, but these two have a great amount of trust in the car, Matt and Nicole together, and Nicole is just as much a driving force as Matt is, and I can't wait to see how they go at this event.
Deep forward.
Matt slowing down for the Ford, but maybe not enough.
53.
Oh no. Matt will be hoping he'll be able to get this car going again.
And then let's just go fast forward. 3 right.
Come on, mate.
Minus.
Yes.
Problems in the first 2 championship rounds have put Phil Campbell on the back foot, but he's certainly a top contender here at Canterbury.
This weekend we're looking to sort of improve on our speed from the last couple of rounds. But in saying that, we need to make sure we finish because we've got to get some decent points to move back up in the championship order. But yeah, we'll definitely be going out there and trying pretty hard and looking for some improvements in the power stage too and see if we can get some of those points that we've missed out on in the last couple of rallies.
And Phil will know that this is a fast stage with an Evo 9 underneath him, which has a reputation for speed. He'll need to make the most of it right here.
Andrew Hawkeswood had an engine failure at Whangarei, but was in the top 5 on day 1. Here he was in a good position to challenge for the lead with a car which can handle anything the forest roads throw at it. Also back on the forest stage is Chris West. And the mighty Mirage Proto, built and run by Rally Art New Zealand. This was a chance to test the car on the tough forest roads, but short-lived as a problem early in the stage saw them limp back to service.
And Westy hasn't been in a rally car for a while, so it's doubly cruel to have bad luck like this in the first stage.
Flat right, small crest 50, but that's blown that pipe.
Glenn Inkster, a former champion at the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint, but it was a corner a few hundred metres after the sprint course, which nearly cost him.
And Glenn really knows this road up until this point, but...
Nice save, 120, thank you.
Well, car owner and co-driver Spencer Wynn, unbelievably cool just then.
And Glenn would be another driver to strike problems at the good old-fashioned Ford.
Yep. 6 plus left.
And it looks like Lance Williams is having problems here as well, and this is turning into a bit of a car graveyard.
So an unfortunate delay to their rally start.
No, she's hydraulic.
So back to the leaders and Ben Hunt, the first to set a stage time.
Quite right, quickly flush the car out.
13 minutes, 32.5.
Ben, first time back in the car after the crash at Whangarei, how was it in there?
Yeah, the first half of the stage was fantastic. The car felt really good, and you know, I don't think I'd lost any confidence, but as you can see, when we went through the Ford, the whole front screen iced over, and for about 4 kilometres we couldn't see a thing, and you know, around right-handers I still can't see anything, so you know, I had to just take it easy and cruise out of there.
David Holder also in trouble, losing a minute to Hunt.
Not all sounding flash.
No, well, we started off with we had no intercom all stage, so I had to drive blind, and then because of all that mix-up, I went into the Ford too hot and then drowned it. We sat there for about 30 seconds, so, and then now it's running a bit rugged. Not the best stage, mate.
Emma Gilmore, the next to arrive at the stage end. And her time looks good. 13 minutes 13.4, fastest so far.
The Ford's been causing all sorts of havoc for everyone. How did you find the stage?
Slippery, really slippery, but we had a good run through the Ford, but Richard held us up after it. He stopped and we were stuck in his mist, and then he didn't pull over for about a couple of Ks, so yeah, not good.
Richard, obviously Emma's got past you in there, a few dramas.
Yeah, the Ford got us. We went in. I thought it was going pretty bloody slow, but I think our lack of under trays or something, everything just went straight to the engine, and the thing almost died, and we couldn't do anything for like a good minute. But once we got up and going, it was fine. But yeah, just lost heaps of time.
And let's see how the local goes here. Matt Summerfield next through the stage. 13 minutes 06.6. He's fastest by 6.8 seconds.
Matt, fastest so far. Good run through there.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Just definitely slippery in places. Just had a go when you could see there was no ice in the road. But yeah, the Ford almost caught me out. The car died for a bit after that. So, but yeah, Sloane's just stopped off in there. So he didn't hold us up at all. So it was a good run.
Sloane, a few dramas in that first stage.
Yeah, first the car cut on the Ford, and then it all fogged up from the Ford and went into mist for some reason, so we just had to crawl out at the end of that stage, unfortunately.
Stage 2, 27 more kilometres, and unfortunately Ben Hunt stopped in the stage after his engine overheated, leaving David Holder first on the road, setting a time of 18 minutes 51.7. Emma Gilmore now the next through, and the Suzuki looks at home on these forest roads.
I think our Suzuki, with the extra suspension travel and that, I think it's well suited to the forest. There's a couple of Fords that will come to and go through, and all of that stuff definitely helps with the suspension travel over the rough stuff. And yeah, I think they do have a bit of an advantage over the more traditional grouping vehicles.
Emma fastest so far. Now Richard Baddock looking to make up time, but a missed pace note sending him on a bit of a wild ride. Ooh.
Now let's take a look at this from the other camera. Coming over this crest, he's missed that corner, and this just shows that a small mistake at these speeds can just have a huge impact.
Sloane Cox moving into the top 10 after second fastest on the stage. But Matt Summerfield out of the rally with a broken cam belt. Phil Campbell passing Richard Baddock as he shows the OK sign. Now on his way to third overall.
And it's good to see Richard showing proper procedure there to ensure no one else has a mistake on that corner.
Sorry, long 5 left, tightens to 4 plus.
Andrew Hawkswood moving into second overall here. Lance Williams, another to lose time in the Stage 1 Ford, looking to make up time. Fifth fastest on the stage, but still 18th overall.
And even with him sitting at 18th overall, so much can happen in a forest rally. Punctures, crashes, whatever. So Lance will be focused on doing everything he can to climb back up that leaderboard, because you never know what can happen.
And Graham Featherston dropping a minute to the leaders on Stage 2, but still in the top 10. Shannon Chambers, another to fight back after stopping on Stage 1. And Clint Cunningham having a great start to the rally. With new co-driver Thomas Thexton, he had his Mitsubishi Evo WRC up to fourth, 12 seconds behind Campbell.
And this is showing the relationship between Clinton and Possum Ball Motorsports really starting to pay some dividends.
Also impressing Carl Davies in the ex-Ben Hunt Subaru in fifth, just 4.5 seconds behind Cunningham. Twelve drivers had entered the Gold Challenge, but by Stage 2, only 7 remained in the competition. Darren Galbraith destroyed an engine on Stage 1. Richard Bateman losing time in Stage 1, so had to play catch-up through Stage 2. But it was Lee Robson who led the way in the older Evo 4 with no issues and up to 6th outright. Kingsley Jones third in the class, just 8.4 seconds behind Bateman despite the spin. And Jason Clark in 4th. So after 2 stages, Emma Gilmore leads by 28 seconds from Hawkeswood, Campbell and Cunningham.
We stalled on the start line of the first stage, so that fired me up sufficiently enough. And then, unfortunately, we caught Richard for a bit. Again, fires me up. So, yeah, it's pretty tricky out there, like really changeable conditions, and it's sort of, it's a bit difficult. But the Suzuki's working really well, and it's nicely balanced. So even when you sort of get into that slippery stuff, you can sort of hold it or work with the slippery conditions. So, yeah, it's challenging out there, but they're very difficult conditions.
The second stage was a fairly comfortable win, so that's got to be encouraging for the rest of the day.
Oh, definitely. Very, very happy to have that win, and we'll just keep doing what we're doing and looking after the car and trying to be as smart as we can about it, because it is, in the forest, it's going to be interesting also when we go back and repeat over those stages and see what they're like.
Andrew Hawkeswood, a great start to the morning, but it could be even better.
Yeah, had a bit of a spin in the first stage, unfortunately, and lost a little bit of time, but no, we're starting to find a rhythm now.
It's been a bit of a rally of attrition. Are you going to back off a bit or keep on pushing and try and fight Emma for the lead?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm never going to give up, but it just depends what happens with Emma. We'll see what happens after this next stage and really assess it from there.
All right, Phil Campbell, perhaps not the fastest start, but it's consistent in third. It's a good reward.
Yeah, our speed's it's all right. It's not probably where we'd like it to be, so we can make a couple of changes now, see if we can go a bit faster when we go back out there. But yeah, third's good. Still a long way to go though, so we just got to keep doing what we're doing and make sure we get it to the end.
Clint Cunningham 4th after the first group of stages, a great start.
I didn't know that till you just said it then. Yeah, no, just sort of took the morning quite easy, and Thomas' first time working together, so there was a lot of about gelling and that sort of thing. So yeah, we're happy with that. Really happy, but long way to go.
Sloan, a fantastic second stage, but it's playing catch-up now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. Unfortunately, lost too much time in that first stage with that Ford. First came in the car, that wasn't too bad, but when the car fogged up, we had to crawl out of stage and it's not put off the road. But second stage, yeah, went brilliantly. Didn't feel superb, but it was tidy driving to get through that stage and it felt real good, and the time was there to show it.
And Chris West back in service after a disappointing start.
Got to the top of Ashley, which we're all pretty familiar with, but unfortunately it's lost boost. But just discovered it split an intercooler radiator. So guys are just away now having a look and seeing if we can make some repairs for rejoin this afternoon.
Coming up at Lone Star Rally Canterbury, can Emma Gilmore keep clear of the field? And we've got all the rock stars of the two-wheel drive battle. Welcome back. Right, let's get some inside knowledge now with our technical expert, Glenn Inkster.
Well, one of the things you'll notice about these new generation rally cars, they really do move around a lot. They've got very long travel suspension, and part of the reason for that is the cars are very light and you use what weight you do have to load up the tyres and to get it turning well. In a rally car, you need suspension travel because the road goes up, down, through bumps, potholes, etc. So if we have a big lot of suspension travel, we can run the car quite soft, it'll absorb all those bumps, and then use the weight transfer of the car to really assist with the turning, and then weight comes back to get rear grip out of the corner nice and straight, nice and fast. One of the main things that are different, these are fabricated components, they're made from blocks of aluminium. Pretty much like a WRC car, you can take that upright and use it in the back of the car. This eliminates spares. It's also nice that you can go and machine one up and not have to rely on a road car one with some compromises that will always be there with the road car. These cars are proven to be very quick, and one of the challenges is making sure that they're as fast as these Group N cars, because in New Zealand roads, the likes of Richard Mason, Hayden Paddon when he was in a Group N car, they proved to be very, very effective on our roads. So we want cars that look cool, go cool, and can have some of this neat suspension and long travel just like a WRC car.
Thanks, Glenn. Good skills. Stage 3 and 4, another 28 kilometres of action before the next service. At the spectator point, it's clear that the roads are starting to dry out of the morning sunshine. The road here at Stage 3 quite wide too for a forestry road.
And through that left-hander just then, Emma's just given us a good example of how well this long suspension travel works on these cars, and she'll be cutting as many corners as possible in the stage, which is probably not something you can get away with in a Group N car.
And the stage still slippery where the trees actually shade the road. Emma pushing hard though to extend her overall lead on these stages. The Suzuki only has a 1600cc engine, so Emma's pace proving that these new cars have come of age. Andrew Hawkswood in second place over these group of stages too. His Mazda running an 1800cc engine, both cars well in excess of 300 kilowatts. Phil Campbell holding third. The Mitsubishi, of course, has a 2-litre engine, but the turbo runs a 34mm restrictor. The advantage of this car is more torque.
And with the APE4 cars, they're running without a restrictor this year, but come next year, 2017 season, every single Class 1 car will be running with a 34mm restrictor for parity reasons. And Phil's taking a great deal of care coming through this Ford. It's a very gnarly Ford coming into here, and everyone has been having troubles with these during this event. He is trying to do everything right to get this car through to the finish and have a good result, including tiptoeing his way through the icy corners just there.
But unfortunately, Phil's engine cried enough at the second service break, and he was forced out of the rally.
120, caution, 1 left hidden.
Clint Cunningham has seen big improvements in 2016, much of it to do with the car preparation by Possum-born Motorsport.
And when Clint first brought this car out, it was having a lot of problems and we weren't really sure about the potential of this car. But now that he's got more confidence in it, and more importantly, he's spending more time out in the stages, he's really showing how fast it can go and getting faster and faster at every event.
Clint moving up to third by stage 4. And behind him by just 0.6 of a second, Carl Davies. David Holder making slow but steady progress up the results board to be 6th at the end of stage 4.
And with Richard Baddock already out and Hayden Paddon not competing at all anymore this year, all David has to do is retain his position and get a huge points lead at the end of this event.
And the man on the move, though, was Sloane Cox, winning stage 3 and second on stage 4. He was competing with Emma, but penalised by losing so much time on stage 1.
Wipers, 36 left, 24 right.
And co-driver Malcolm Reed showing some positivity in the stages to try and help Sloane get right back up to the top of the leaderboard.
Gate, don't go wide, 20.
Now to many, Canterbury is the home of two-wheel drive classic rallying, and it was Christchurch team Marcus van Klink and Dave Neal who lead the way. By the end of stage 4, they were up to 10th place.
And Klinky and Dave are a great team who have lots of constructive arguments through the stage. But Dave Neal's disconnected the intercom to the video camera, so we're not going to find out what happened there. But regardless of that, these guys are multi-time champions and are always fast in this car, especially in the home of two-wheel drive classic rallying.
Regan Ross had kept pace with Van Klink early on, but the Escort's diff broke on stage 4 and he was out. That left Max Bailey in second place, the Fiesta driver trading times with the other Group B Mazda RX-7 of John Silcock.
And John's been building this car for a number of years, so it's fantastic to see it out in the stages.
And hear it out on the stages too. Dave Strong was in 4th place in his Honda Civic. While Greg Murphy was back in the rally action in his Chevette, repaired after his Otago crash. So the results after stage 4, Sloane Cox making progress, move up to 7th. Phil Campbell going no further with that engine issue. Emma Gilmore now looking to manage her lead.
We've had a good couple of stages. The car's handling really well, and it is a case of sort of driving as conservatively as possible, as fast as possible. So, trying to not make any silly risks, because it is still really changeable out there, and it's really slippery when it turns to ice and frost sort of just in front of you. So, it's a challenge.
It's a massive battle for the podium spots that you're in, but there's a few dramas as well.
Yeah, we've got some issues that just crept up in the last stage here, so hope the guys can do their thing and get us back out there. Yeah.
What is the issue?
I'm not sure yet, but some strange foreign noises, which I hope go away.
Lance Williams sounds like a bit of a disaster in that last stage, really.
Yeah, got another puncture. The rock seems to have gone straight through the tyre and out the inside of the rim, so it was blown on the inside out and it bent it in onto the caliper, and it was hard to get the wheel off, so we lost quite a bit of time in there.
All right, Lee Robson, great start to the event. After 4 stages, you're leading Category 5.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. We've had a couple of issues this morning. We had quite a large rock on the first stage, and then we blew a turbo hose about a third of the way through the last stage. So had a couple of issues, but we're here and we've still got a little margin, so we'll just try and extend that a little bit in the afternoon.
Now, the sound of Mazda rotaries at Ashley Forest brings back memories of the rally battle in the 1990s. And for Christchurch driver Marcus van Klink, it was the only car to have.
Well, basically, all my friends have got Ford Escorts. I've never been a Ford Escort fan, so I thought, what better car to annoy them all than build a good Mazda? And when I was growing up as a young boy, I always had a lot of RX2s and RX7s, so I thought it was the right thing to do.
Repeat, 50 metres, 2 right. Car coming up. There's 2 right here, 2 right. Yeah, sort of get around. 4 left.
Oh, hey, Mark is a very skilled driver, but hey, it's like any job. You've got to pull him in line when he needs it, and hey, I'm sure he respects it when I do that, and we've got a good understanding, and we work well together. So, hey, it's been a 6-year partnership, and it's going strong. So 3 national championships, and we're pretty wrapped with that.
Long 6 left minus to a 4 right. Long 6 left minus 4 right. 4 right. 4. Yeah, I got it. 200.
Most of the call's right, and the odd time he might be a bit hot and he'll get told about it, but hey.
He might be a bit slow.
So there's a bit of give and take, and 99% of the time it's bang on. So, but just for you guys, we always like chucking a little bit of favouritism and a little bit of flavour.
And outside the car, another fun battle is against Regan Ross, who's turned out to be his arch enemy and good mate.
As a young boy, he turned up with his mum and dad and bought a Mazda 3D3 Turbo of us. He still keeps reminding me I sold it with no air cleaner. But it wasn't until years later that when I met Regan through rallying that we realised at the time that's when I didn't like Regan either. I always thought he was very arrogant. But as time's gone on, we've actually turned out to be really good mates. But back then when he was winning everything and I was just starting out, I didn't think much of the guy.
quite ironic how he was one of his best men.
Yeah. It's funny how times have changed. But yes, I did sell him his first road car. And he's tucked me into a few ones since then, though.
Great stuff. Stage 5, a repeat of Stage 1, so the road may have dried out, but what about the water crossings?
Well, they're all still there, and every competitor at this point has been through a couple, so there's no excuses to stuff it up now.
And the first to try it out is Emma Gilmore, the rally leader.
Now, I thought she slowed down enough for that Ford, but that car does not sound healthy, and she's still got another Ford to go through. So, cross your fingers. Oh no! This is disastrous for Emma.
So close to a rally win, and look at this! She stopped! Hold the phone, Blocker. But wait, there's more, is there?
Yes, she's got it going again.
Well, sort of. Oh, luckily for Emma, she's away again. And look, back up to full speed, almost. But not so lucky Sloane Cox. After fighting back from losing time on Stage 1, he would strike problems on the repeat of the same stage and lose 8 minutes. Can you believe it?
This is where we stopped last time.
Sweet.
Yep. Nice and wide.
Not too.
Yep.
David Holder making it through the stage, but 12 seconds slower than Gilmore.
And 12 seconds is a lot considering all the problems that Emma had, so he must have had problems too.
Graham Featherston fastest on the stage, moving him to 5th. But then the drama on the stage, Shannon Chambers had been fighting back after losing time in stage 1, but again stopped in the water. But this time blocking the stage and causing a delay for the cars behind, as seen here on Marcus van Klink's camera. The following cars were given Dave Holder's stage time as compensation.
This looks more like an Auckland motorway than a Christchurch forest.
Stage 6 was a repeat of stage 2. Emma Gilmore's given herself a 30-second buffer over the morning, but a puncture or a spin could easily eat into that time.
And look at Emma's face. She's very determined here. She's had chances to win before, but she knows that to defend this lead, she just has to go hard or go home.
Emma shaves 33 seconds off her morning stage time. Sloane Cox won the stage by just 0.05 seconds, but of course, too little, too late.
And Sloane has shown flashes of brilliance at this event, but he just can't seem to string a consistent event together. He's having lots of little problems. And near misses just like that one.
Right, keep in, opens over crest. And 8 right, 40. 7 right, break 30. 5 left, don't go wide.
And David Holder should have been moving into podium contention here, but it wasn't to be.
He's pretty hot coming into here. Oh, dump the clutch. Ah, he's lost it.
You right, Dave? Yep.
Not the end of the rally that you were planning on, David.
No, this is one of those ones that you just don't like to finish like this. Everyone sort of says just hold position and do what you're doing to get through the rally, but sometimes it's just a small mistake. Doesn't matter whether you're pushing or you're cruising, it just sort of puts you off the road. So unfortunately I missed the braking point here and yeah, got wide and didn't really have a chance to get it back.
Andrew Hawkswood still in second, but stage by stage, Gilmore edging further in front. And the gap was now over a minute.
And a minute gap is quite a large gap considering the number of stages yet to go. Andrew's probably now focused on holding second position, but being close enough to Emma that he can take first place if she has any sort of problem.
Carl Davies and Clint Cunningham continued to swap times in the battle for third. Cunningham having the upper hand in the afternoon stages.
And looking at the road conditions here, it's still very wet and slippery and cold. Most drivers here have also chosen to stay on soft tyres rather than the normal decision to move to mediums in the afternoon, with some drivers even cutting their tyres to get extra grip.
Also pushing hard and making up time, Lance Williams, fourth fastest on the stage. Now in the Class 5 Gold Challenge, Lee Robson had consolidated his lead. Richard Bateman retired on stage 6, and that moved Kingsley Jones up to second, with Jason Clark in third. So the results after stage 6, Emma Gilmore now over a minute ahead of Hawkswood, still close though between Cunningham and Davies.
We were very lucky in that last time through the forge, like it was really deep and the car coughed and spluttered, so we lost about 30 seconds there and I was very nervous, hoping that it wasn't going to be permanent. You just can't be 100%. It's not sort of like Whangarei where they're just, 100% commitment all the time. You've got to still put a little bit of caution in there just because the conditions are still so changeable.
You've obviously had a really good run this morning. What's been the secret to keeping your nose clean through these stages that have caught out so many people?
Oh, well, that's just what it's been. Just drive as you can, I think. Yeah, we wanted to finish. We've had a disaster of a run so far this year, so all we wanted to do was get through, and that's still the plan.
Coming up, 3 stages to go, including the power stage. Who can take home the perfect points after this tough rally? Welcome back to an arduous Lone Star Rally Canterbury. 2 stages now repeated, stages 7 and 8. Despite the rally traffic and the sunlight, parts of stage 7 still very slippery.
And that's one of the great things about forest rallying. You can go from a grassy track through to a sunlit road and then back again into a shaded area hidden by the trees and slippery as hell. And the very best drivers will adapt their driving style to the conditions, and they'll come out on top at the end of the event, and that's exactly what Emma's doing right here.
Right, plus half long.
Emma Gilmore racing home. But it was Andrew Hawkswood who scored a stage win on stage 7 and kept that pressure on.
And Andrew's one of the few drivers that drives exactly the same style no matter the conditions, and that's flat out.
Now, Glenn Inkster had lost time in the afternoon, but when the Skoda was going, it was really competitive. Second fastest on stage 7 for Inky.
And with Emma, Hawkswood and Inky on this event, it's just like having a WRC event in Canterbury.
Lance Williams too, down in 15th place, but he put in some strong times in the afternoon. With the power stage still to come, he did have one good chance to perhaps gain some bonus points.
And Lance's co-driver Crunch will be telling him to forget about the morning, focus on the afternoon, and especially on the last stage, the power stage, where there's a whole 5 points up for grabs.
And it was the same too for Sloane Cox, so the upcoming power stage might just provide a bit of a sting in the tail of this rally in Canterbury.
120. Brake, caution, long 6 left off Camber, tightens 5 narrow. And 6 left up.
Carl Davies now moved up to 3rd overall as Clint Cunningham was penalised for an infringement at stage 5 during the traffic jam. And that meant steady as she goes for Graham Featherston, now up to 4th. Chris West had returned to the stages to test the Mirage.
Westy was really unlucky to strike problems in the first stage of this rally, but it's good to see him back out there, getting some more miles in the Mirage, and hopefully setting some good stage times this afternoon.
Great shots of the Southern Alps too, so with the stage left to run, Emma Gilmore still holds a lead of over a minute. Carl Davies now in 3rd, Lee Robson impressive in 5th. And the Gull Class 5 Challenge, in fact, Robson hadn't really been challenged all day and would claim his first Class 5 victory. Kingsley Jones bringing home his Evo in 2nd. And an impressive finish in 3rd for class rookie Jason Clark. Brindley Smith finishing 4th, a big improvement after his class debut in 2015. Greg Murphy, the only finisher in Class 5B, but the former Bathurst winner now leads a Rally Championship class. The Gull 2-wheel drive class saw Marcus van Klink extend his lead over the afternoon stages. The Mazda driver using his lead in the morning to stay ahead as he played it safe and finished an excellent 6th outright.
Well, there you go. That's another class victory for this very experienced pair. But it hasn't been an easy afternoon, with plenty of other cars pushing them for pace.
In fact, Max Bailey actually beat Marcus van Klink in the afternoon stages. So that was a real contrast between the mighty Mazda and the little Fiesta. Two very different cars, but the front drive Fiesta probably better suits the second pass over these roads. John Silcock bringing home his Mazda in 3rd. Pleased to get a great result as he develops this brand new historic car. And as always, Dave Strong finishing strong 4th in his Honda. So now it's the power stage, all that stands between Emma Gilmore and her first rally victory. But also a chance for some of the drivers to redeem their day, like Lance Williams, who was 2nd fastest on the stage and collected 4 points. Sloane Cox trying hard to go one better. But just a little too hard and lucky not to spin around.
Left plus. Flat crest, 150.
Whoa, 1.1 second down on Williams. He gets 3 points. Graham Featherstone ending a good day, 4th overall. Now, Carl Davies came to the rally looking to score a finish, and he did a lot better, finishing 3rd overall. Andrew Hawkswood had fought hard all day for the rally win, but in the end a good result to finish 2nd overall and collected 2 power stage bonus points.
And it's important to note this stage was run an hour later than it should have due to unexpected delays. All the competitors were going to struggle with darkness through here. But even with that, Andrew will be stoked with 2nd on this event in his brand new Mazda AP4.
Andrew Hawkswood, 2nd place, a fantastic result for the Mazda.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been a tough old day today, but, you know, got there in the end. It's been, yeah, trying, but awesome.
Now, Emma Gilmore debuted at 2002 at Targa, New Zealand. Since then, she's finished 2nd in the NZRC, 2nd in the Asia Pacific Rally Championship. She's also raced in Europe, the USA and the Middle East, but never stood on top of the podium until now.
6 left. And there you have it. Emma's finally won her first rally, and she's taken out the power stage with maximum points. Good stuff, Emma.
Emma Gilmore, 12 long years.
I think it might be longer, but it's a long time. Really long time. So excited, so happy to finally have a win. You know, and everyone's hard work on the Suzuki. Lindsay, who's been with the project since day one, and Lane and Mike, you know, and Anthony for doing a great job today. It's just real team effort. So very, very happy. And all my sponsors as well. They've been so loyal and supportive. So happy.
That last stage, how was it?
Very, very tricky. So icy at the start and then dark at the end.
Congratulations, well done, Emma.
So just confirming our power stage winner, Emma Gilmore takes the maximum 5 points. Williams and Cox some consolation for their day. Overall, though, Emma Gilmore wins the rally by 1 minute 15 seconds from Hawkswood and Davies. Lee Robson, the Gold Challenge winner. Van Klink takes 2-wheel drive. Cox recovered to 9th and Clint Cunningham dropped to 13th after that penalty. But for now, though, time to celebrate a great victory. Emma Gilmore becoming the first woman to break the male domination of the sport in New Zealand. Sensational. And that puts Emma in second place in the overall championship, just 8 points behind David Holder as we head to round 4, Gisborne in July.